Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Margarita. I'm a stay-at-home mom of 4 kids and today I'm sharing episode 9 of my What's for Dinner series. My husband and I both came to the US as refugees when we were small children. My husband is from Kazakhstan and I am from Tajikistan. And although I grew up here, I still cook a lot of my favorite ethnic foods from my childhood. I hope you get some dinner ideas or just enjoy seeing what other people from different cultures eat. We started our week with stuffed chicken breasts, and this was a new to me recipe and it was finger licking good. It was so good. For my family, I doubled the recipe. I'm using 4 chicken breasts, 1 package of cream cheese, some garlic, spinach, Parmesan cheese, and then some seasonings. I will link the full recipe down below for you. I'm starting out by preparing the cream cheese stuffing mixture. I cubed 8 ounces of cream cheese into a bowl, and now I am just chopping up my spinach. Now for this recipe, I do not need the whole bag of spinach, but whenever I have spinach, I like to chop everything up, use what I need, and put the rest into the freezer. Into the bowl, I'm just going to add the Parmesan cheese, some fresh crushed garlic, some seasonings, and then I'm going to add the mayonnaise and stir everything together. Next, I'm working on my chicken breasts. I just rinsed the chicken breasts, I trimmed it, and I'm just cutting a slit in the center where I can stuff the breasts. To season the chicken breasts, I'm just drizzling some avocado oil over them and sprinkling some salt, pepper, paprika, and garlic powder. And then just using my hands, I'm going to rub the seasonings all over the chicken breasts. Once I have rubbed in the seasonings, I'm going to stuff the chicken breasts with my cream cheese mixture. I'm going to bake the chicken breasts in the oven at 375 for 35 to 40 minutes. For the sides, I'm going to make some buttered noodles and some steamed green beans. For buttered noodles, I just cook the noodles per package directions, then I drain them and I toss them with some butter and garlic salt. And for the green beans, I just steam the beans and then I toss them in a bowl with some butter, some garlic powder, salt, and pepper. So this is what our dinner looked like. So the following day I made Uzbekistan lagman. This is an ethnic dish that we really like. It is basically kind of like a beef noodle soup, and for my beef I love to use boneless short ribs just because the meat is so tender. Now I don't have a recipe link for this recipe because this is something my mother taught me to make, but you'll need some tomatoes, potatoes, a bell pepper, onion, carrots, garlic, and you will also need some sort of noodles. I am using linguine. It's just a little thinner than fettuccine. For spices, you'll need some bay leaves, coriander, cumin, and of course, salt and pepper. I am preheating a large pot on low to medium heat with some avocado oil, and I am chopping up my meat into half-inch pieces. I am transferring my chopped up meat into the pot. I'm going to season the meat with salt, pepper, and ground coriander seed and cumin. I'm going to give everything a good stir, and I'm going to cook the meat until it is starting to brown. While the meat is browning, I am preparing my vegetables. I peeled and diced the carrots. I'm also going to cut up the bell pepper and chop up the onion as well. When my meat has been browned, I'm adding my chopped onions, carrots, and bell pepper. I'm gonna give everything a good stir, and I'm gonna continue cooking the veggies with the meat until the veggies have cooked down and the onions are starting to brown. And meanwhile, I'm going to chop up my tomatoes and peel and cube up my potatoes as well. I forgot to mention earlier, but you will also need half a can of tomato sauce. Once the veggies are cooked down, I'm going to add some fresh minced garlic, and I'm going to stir everything together for about 30 seconds. Then I'm going to add my chopped tomatoes and stir everything again, and then I'm going to add half a can of tomato sauce. Once again, give it a good stir. I am going to add 8 cups of water into the pot, and I'm going to season the broth with some salt, pepper, and I'm going to throw in my 2 bay leaves. I'm also going to throw in my chopped potatoes as well. Once the broth has come to a boil, I'm going to reduce the heat to low and simmer it with the lid propped up for about 1 hour. I am also cooking the linguine pasta in some salted water. I like to break my linguine into half. It just makes it a little easier for the kids to eat. I just cook it per package directions, then I drain the pasta. I toss it with some avocado oil to prevent it from sticking together. Unlike chicken noodle soup, where the noodles are cooked inside the broth, this dish, you cook the noodles separately and you plate it separately. You just add the noodles to the bowl and then you pour the broth over it. This prevents the noodles from overcooking and absorbing too much liquid. I like to garnish the noodles with some parsley for some color and an additional layer of flavor. This is one of my childhood favorite meals, and I love making it for my family as well. The next day we had some roasted chicken drumsticks and thighs. This is also a childhood recipe. My mom used to make this all the time. For this recipe, you're going to need some chicken pieces. You can use just drumsticks or thighs. I'm using a combination pack, about 5 pounds. You're going to need some sort of spices. I'm using this garlic and herb seasoning from Costco. You're going to need some mayonnaise, paprika, pepper, salt, and garlic. I started off by rinsing the chicken pieces and placing them in a large bowl and putting 3 large tablespoons of mayonnaise in it with the chicken. I'm crushing some fresh garlic. I'm also going to season the chicken with some salt, pepper, paprika, and some sort of seasoning. I've also used like the Montreal steak seasoning before, and it's really good with that as well. Then I use my hands and I rub in the seasoning and the mayonnaise into all of the pieces. Afterwards, I'm going to cover it with saran wrap and let the chicken marinate for at least a couple hours or overnight. When I'm ready to roast my chicken, I place it on a lined sheet. I lined it with some parchment paper for easy cleanup. Then I take whatever marinade is left over in the bowl and I swish it around with about 1 cup of water. And I just pour the water around the chicken because this is going to keep the chicken very moist because I roast this chicken at 375 for about an hour and a half. For the sides, I'm going to do broccoli and I'm also going to do one of our favorite pastas. I like to saute some onions, bell peppers, and mushrooms and then toss some cooked pasta with it. It's very simple, but it has so much flavor and my kids really enjoy it. So into the pot, I add some olive oil and I'm going to saute my veggies until they're completely cooked through. And I'm going to cook some of our favorite pasta. This is the colorful pasta from Trader Joe's. I'm going to season the veggies with some salt, pepper, and paprika. Then I'm going to add some fresh crushed garlic. I'm going to stir everything together. I love to add this chili onion crunch from Trader Joe's and I just use the tiniest amount to give it flavor but not to make it spicy because my kids do not like spicy food. I'm going to stir the veggies and then I'm going to add the cooked and drained pasta and give everything a good stir until all of the flavors are mixed together with the pasta. Roasting the chicken with a little bit of liquid ensures that you have incredibly moist chicken that falls off of the bones. This is what dinner looked like. Next, I made a chicken sauce over buckwheat, and for my family, I used 2 chicken breasts, an onion, 3 carrots, some garlic. I like to add some mushrooms. I'm going to need 2 cans of tomato sauce. And I love to cook buckwheat for my family. However, my husband does not like buckwheat. He did not grow up eating it as I did. So for him, I do cook some macaroni noodles and he tops the noodles with the sauce. I'm starting off by peeling the 3 carrots and chopping them. I'm also going to chop the mushrooms and the onion. Everything will be similar in size. And next, I am just cutting up my 2 chicken breasts. I like to cut my chicken into very small pieces. I am preheating a pot on medium heat. I'm adding some avocado oil in it and I'm going to saute my chicken. I'm going to season it with salt and pepper and just stir fry it until it is golden. Next, I am cooking my buckwheat and I cook my buckwheat to the same ratio as I would cook any other grains like rice. So I'm using 4 cups of water to 2 cups of buckwheat. I also like to put a heaping tablespoon of butter in it and 2 teaspoons of salt. I bring it to a boil, then I put the lid on and reduce the heat to low heat and simmer it for 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, the buckwheat has absorbed all of the liquid. As you can see, it is done. I'm just going to give it a good stir and remove it from the heat. Meanwhile, I am continuing to cook my chicken. I just keep stirring it so it cooks evenly. And once it is starting to get golden, I'm going to add the veggies. I'm going to add all of the veggies and give everything a good stir and cook the veggies and the chicken together just until the veggies have been reduced down and are starting to get golden. Once the vegetables have been cooked down, I'm going to add garlic. I'm using about 3 cloves of garlic. I'm going to stir the garlic in, let the aroma release, and then I'm going to add 2 cans of tomato sauce and then 2 cans of water. I am going to season the sauce with salt, pepper, some oregano, and basil. Give everything a good stir and bring it to a boil. Once my sauce has came to a boil, I am going to reduce the heat to low and simmer it with the lid propped up for about an hour. To serve this, you just put the buckwheat in a bowl and then you top it with your sauce. This is just one of those meals that reminds me of my childhood. My mom used to make this all the time for us. I'm so happy my kids all love buckwheat just as much as I do. And last but not least, I am sharing another favorite dessert recipe with you. This week I made snickerdoodle cheesecake bars. It is just like a cheesecake and a snickerdoodle cookie together. It is so good. I'm going to link the full recipe down below for you. I'm starting off by making the crust for the cheesecake. I'm just putting 12 graham crackers into my food processor as well as 1 cup of pecans, and I'm just going to pulse this together. Once the graham crackers have turned into fine crumbs, I'm just going to pour the melted butter and the sugar into the food processor. I'm going to pulse this together until it is all combined. I'm going to dump the graham cracker mixture into a pan, and I'm going to use the back of my spoon and just press everything down to create a crust. After I have finished the crust, I am moving on to the cheesecake filling. I'm beating the cream cheese with the sugar together. Then I'm going to add the eggs, vanilla, and cinnamon. I'm going to beat it all together and just dump it over the crust and spread it out. After I have spread my cheesecake layer over the crust, I'm going to get started on my cookie dough layer. So I'm just creaming some butter and sugar together, and then I'm going to add my egg, vanilla extract, baking powder, some flour and cinnamon, and just combine everything together until I get the consistency of cookie dough. I'm going to use my hands and spread the cookie dough over the cheesecake layer, and then I'm just going to sprinkle everything on top with pecans and with cinnamon sugar. I bake this at 350 for about 35 minutes, and I wait for it to be completely cool before I cut them into squares. Well, this wraps up this week's video. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to see more videos from me. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.